Hello again, this is Victor James, author of the Megacosm, and I wanted to talk about Star Wars again. So, an update to my last video. My last video, Star Wars, that people are watching, thank you for that. I talked about the High Republic book series that I highlighted that was failing, and apparently it's ending. I did not know there was a 5-year plan. I didn't know, I knew they were coming out with a series, but I didn't know they actually had a set 5-year plan. But according to the Direct, they did. So, according to the Direct, the High Republic, Star Wars 5-year-long experiment in creating interconnected storytelling across multiple mediums has officially come to an end with the release of a one-shot comic. The High Republic began in 2001, and in the coming years led to more than 24 novels and over 100 comic books issued, and more being released within that timeline. So, they're releasing this one-shot that's coming out, and this is going to be the end of the High Republic. So, we don't know. This is all they're really telling us. We don't know if there's going to be any offshoots or anything, but I guess their 5-year plan was over. And I asked ChatGPT what that was because I had no idea what the 5-year plan was. So this was the 5-year plan. So in 2001, they came out with the Light of the Jedi. Then Phase 2 is Quest of the Jedi. And I guess we're in the Trials of the Jedi. But sales were so low, nobody really paid attention. But now it's ending. And so this is getting kind of some news. So I want to go here because this kind of contradicts it. So in Inverse said when the Acolyte was ending that they're going to dive deep into the High Republic. So I'm thinking that if it was successful, they probably wouldn't be ending it. I mean, we could just admit that if this was selling off the charts, they would not. The 5-year plan would have been another 5-year plan. That's what you usually do when you do a 5-year plan. You do one set of 5-year plans, and then you have another set of 5-year plans once that ends. But just to end it and say that's it, that means it was a failure. But according to Inverse, when the Acolyte ended, they were going to go deep into the High Republic going forward, according to this article. The High Republic may have been a fumble introduced in the main Star Wars fandom, but the Acolyte still increased awareness of this era. In the post-Acolyte world, the books can finally fill in the gaps what had previously been a disconnected story and make it a key part of the entire Star Wars timeline. So this was just in October 2024, and here we are in July, and they're just like, nah, let's just go ahead and end it. But there are actually some good news for Star Wars fans. So this is what the final comic looks like. I don't care because I don't read the High Republic. But down here is something I did not know. Marvel's relaunching the Star Wars line. This is a new Star Wars ongoing series that will take place right after the Return of the Jedi, as well as another series featuring Dr. Aphra. Don't care about her. It's unknown at this time if there will be a line of the comic dedicated to stories outside the Skywalker saga, similar to the High Republic. So they actually have another Star Wars based off the original characters that we all love. And you can see them down here. So let's go ahead and read this. Marvel Comics is gearing up for a new era of Star Wars telling this spring. Comics got to speak. Oh, sorry for that. Let me start over. I don't know. I got distracted because my dog is right next to me, just going to town on this bone. Marvel Comics is gearing up for a new era of Star Wars storytelling this spring. And comicbook.com got to speak with one of the creatives helping to steer the starship. It's been 10 years since the Star Wars franchise returned to Marvel, and for the most part, the ongoing series and events that captivated the readers have taken place during the original trilogy. However, all of this is about to change with May Star Wars #1. The new ongoing series written by Alex Segura and artist Phil Noto, hope it's Noto, will finally explore follow the unexplored period after Star Wars Return of the Jedi, and feature fan favorites like Luke Skywalker, Leia, and Han, and more. This part right here kind of gets me. Unexplored period after the Return of the Jedi. Are we still pretending that the EU doesn't exist? Because I could have sworn I read some book that was right after that. So I looked it up, and the Truce of Baghdad. That's the one I read. So so I guess it's the EU. So this is not canon, I guess, according to Disney. But this happened right after the Return of the Jedi. And this is good. This is what's going to be the problem. Like, if you read the article, you can go ahead and read this article. It's on Comic Book. It's hard for me to say comic book without saying comicbook.com. But comic book, you go ahead and read the article, and they have a good interview with this guy. He seems like he's an actual fan, that he actually wants to do a good Star Wars. So this actually could be a good book. I mean, the art's pretty decent. And I actually kind of like this art from Star Wars. I like the kind of more realistic art when it comes to my Star Wars. But this is not bad, I guess, for a Star Wars book. But he seemed, they're going back to the original characters. It looks like Disney's learned their lesson, but it's kind of sad that you have to always go back to these characters, and you're still going to be compared to the EU, because they had, like I said, they had that book, The Truce of Bakura, and I remember it was okay. It wasn't that greatest, but that's when things were just getting popping off. So we had some great books afterwards, and they kept the story going. And I remember reading it, and I was like, yeah, this is okay. So they're still going to be compared to that. So they got a tough road ahead if they're going to try to do this unexplored period where they're using the original characters, because it's always going to be compared to the EU, who had a lot of books still after that timeline. So I actually brought up some more, of course, go to ChatGPT, because I don't feel like looking at all this stuff by myself. But yeah, this was set 4 years afterwards. This is like I said, The Truce of Bakura was immediately afterwards. And then, Thrawn Trilogy was just 5 years afterwards. So they have a, pretty small window to get a good comic book story going for that little window that I guess that wasn't talked about as much. So, if you're a Star Wars fan, go ahead, you can pick this up. I'm kind of checked out, so I hope nobody subbed to my channel expecting it to be a Star Wars channel, because unless I get something, big from the High Republic, which I love, you're probably not going to hear much from me about Star Wars going forward, unless it's just something insane. Because I didn't watch the Acolyte. Like I said, I'm just checked out. But that's your news for. I just want to update people. Like, the High Republic's ending. It's over. It's over. It's safe to read Star Wars again, I guess. But anyway, go ahead and I'm going to plug my book. So I got my book, Fiasco Adventures. It's available on Amazon. And it's actually, people are buying it. So people, thank you. I guess this whole video thing works, because I've never been sub 1,000 in any category. And now I was in the millions before, and now I'm, it's climbing up the charts. So thank you guys for buying this book. It's awesome. And I also have my website, themegacosm.com, where you can actually read the first chapter of Fiasco Adventures. I think this is how people are getting it, because my traffic to my website is actually getting better. So I think people are reading this first chapter and they're going out and buying the book, which I appreciate. I mean, that means people, like my writing, and I think that's awesome. People are also buying my book, The Mark. So this is another book about a Green Beret, and it's about a deception obsession. So I basically just wanted to pit a Green Beret versus an Army Ranger. I was neither, I wasn't in the military, but I was neither one of these. So I did a lot of research, and people seem to like this book. And like I said, people are buying this one as well. I've never been sub 1,000 in this book, and it's starting to sell pretty well as well. So go ahead and read that. I don't think I have a sample chapter of it here. I know I don't have it on my website, but I might have it on Substack. So go to my Substack if you want to read a sample chapter of my books here as well. So I have a Substack, and go ahead and go to the Megacosm Substack. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say. God bless you and keep you. That's it. I'm done.